What do you think the role of like a Roblox game designer or any game designer is five years out from now? Do you think it's different?
I think I'm optimistic that typically industrial revolution or whatever revolution, I think we've chatted about stuff like this before. There's a thought that there won't be any jobs after this. I think I'm a little bit more optimistic that a new class of things will show up. And that I think there's a huge opportunity for more creators. I think, I'm not to the point where I believe, what we call AI slop today is going to take over. Like, I think the human touch has got a long runway on it. So you could imagine more diversity or quality of experiences supplemented by AI. But I do think the role will be more leveraged and the quality coming out of 5 people will be astounding, but we'll come to expect that quality. So quality will go up. I think iteration on testing will go up. I think where we see platforms like Roblox going is just as people are starting to spin up agents to develop code. I think people, hopefully on the Roblox platform against the Roblox cloud, you'll be able to go away for 24 hours and your agents are going to be like tweaking and testing, spinning up a Roblox experience, sending 20 NPCs into them on various client emulators. There's an NPC on a phone, there's an NPC here, tuning the game. So hopefully you'll feel more power in what you're building.
I'm also curious, there is a set of research around world models that I'm sure you've seen that is just trying to directly generate game experiences with like, there's no physics engine underneath, like you don't control the mechanisms, it's just video. What's your view on that?
I think it's like a super exciting, interesting thing to think about. I think, like I said before, I think one thing is going to be the higher the fidelity, is memory stored in video latents? Or does there need to be another research breakthrough where memory is ultimately stored in some new latent space that's 3D or 4 dimension? But the fidelity is amazing. I think that's really beautiful. And I think that the way we would see the ultimate architectures of these platforms is probably for a while not an all-in-one thing. We would probably see some hyper efficient 1,000-person synchronization state engine. We might also see some of the photorealism not being done server side, but being done in intermediate spaces or client side as well. And we may see multi-step pipelines where there's the raw framework, there's 3D upsampling, then there's local 2D upsampling. We're actually going, oh my gosh, like people are putting together a bunch of pieces, dedicated NPC capability, dedicated synchronization capability, 3D upsampling, 2D upsampling, and potentially world model stuff. World model, you can imagine that being used even in its early state today, rather than maybe a gameplay state, where rather than making a video, you talk about the video while you walk around and you kind of say, put me in a Western world. I want to go left. I want to go right, add a few horses. And that video actually goes to a multiplayer experience. One could imagine that. I think what a lot of other people are wondering is the short form video. Does someone hit it just like they did with short form video into a highly retentive, like local dreaming product that can just react to what you're doing? I think it's still early for both of those, but it's a big possibility. I would say that we are doubled down on a hybrid multi-AI tech stack that supports multiplayer natively.
Yeah, I think one of the ideas that's like internationally very interesting has been the idea that you could generate like serial micro dramas as a form that is not yet that popular in the West, but seems like a good format for the technology.
Micro dramas, I've watched a few. I mean, it's really interesting. It's fun to see like some entrepreneurs tried to do that. I won't mention who, like 5 or 10 years ago, then they naturally emerged kind of thing. It's interesting to think if those micro dramas are easier to produce, they don't need live actors, but what is the plot line that really resonates? We'll see with that.
And you can mass test that at scale if you're using AI, right? You can actually
That's
have,
right.
A very large number of iterations. This is kind of one of the arguments people make around the Fermi paradox of like, why haven't we seen alien life? And the idea is it's just, there's alien life, they're just stuck in these virtual worlds now where, it's funner than the real world.
That. What's the famous quote? Where is everyone?
Yeah, exactly. So one option is they're in some virtual landscape that's more compelling than the real world. And so therefore there's no reason to travel the universe.
Or it could be, we could really start conjecturing what's the future evolution. Is it human or machine life and all of that?
Yeah.
And once it gets to maybe human machine life, what happens? So
the subsumption.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the vanilla sky.
Yeah, exactly.
or the optimistic thing is more the holodeck thing.
Yeah,
like everyone's hanging out with other people rather than a simulation of themselves.
Yeah.